Great to be here. I looked at who's here, and it's very honored to be part of this program. I don't go to a lot of places to talk because I am at the plant most of the time, but I couldn't resist to come here, and after I saw what the program is all about, the young entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, what they want to do for the future, what they want to do for this country and the world, I think it's very important. You know, how many of you eat Chobani here? That has started in a very little plant in a very little town called New Berlin in 2005. And I saw an ad that said, fully equipped yogurt plant for sale. And I was in my office. It was just a simple ad. And I throw it to my garbage can. I was going through my junk mails. And then half an hour later, I just somehow reached out to that can and picked up that ad. I was smoking at that time, and I still do a little bit, and tea. So this paper is messy now, so I can barely read it. And I called the number, and next day I went there. It turns out that it's a plant that's owned by Kraft. It's been there for almost 90 years. The walls were, not in good shape. The paint is not good in shape. And Rich, who was the plant manager at that time, and took me through the plant and showed me the whole plant. But what I saw, that there was about 40, 50 people were trying to close the plant. And this was March of 2005. And I decided to get this plant. And when I called my attorney, he said I was crazy. And he almost said, you're F crazy. And I insisted him next day, but he tried to convince me not to do it because he had these two questions. One is, he said, there's this huge companies closing it, and they are making yogurt. And if they knew something about yogurt, and if they think that this is valuable, they wouldn't close it. Who are you? That's a good question. Actually, that's a good question. The second thing he said, that this plant has been around for 100 years, and you're buying it as is. So who knows what kind of damages has been done for the environment, what kind of responsibilities you're taking over? That's a good question, too. So I would change my mind. The next day I will call back, and I say, no, I'm going to do it. And not knowing what I will do. But on August 17, 2005, I had the key for the plant with the loan from SBA. And just before we walked in, we took a picture with that 5 people that I hired first time. Those 5 people were 5 of 55 who worked in that plant for 15, 20 years. I have to mention their name because it's very, very important for our Chobani story, and also important that these names, these faces, these people, what they do every day is what this country is all about. It's Maria, who was there for answering calls for 15 years. Rich was a production manager. Mike was the maintenance person who worked there and retired and came back to work. Frank was the wastewater guy. Mustafa is the yogurt maker, and myself. This little town, South Edmiston, very lonely road, middle of nowhere, and there's a bar across the street from that plant. It's called Croch's. And the people who went to that bar is the bikers with the tattoos and, scary looking. They were nice, but I was scared. And this is the environment that we started. And just like what he mentioned today, Chobani is $1 billion in sales in 5 years. We are #1 brand in the country. We have over 1,200 employees. We are still 100% independent. We spent $600 million this year building our plant in South Edmiston to become the biggest yogurt plant in the world. And then we invested $400 million in Twin Falls, Idaho. We built a 1 million square feet yogurt plant, which is 4 times bigger than the biggest plant in the world, which is our plant in South Edmiston. And we are in Australia. We have a plant in Australia. We just launched Chobani in UK. We are in Canada, and we are going on and on and on. I'm so proud of this, but in 3rd year going in, having goals to where to go, I just realized that this wasn't about numbers. This wasn't about the sales. It was all about the journey. And it's not how much you sell. It's not how big you become. It's not how many cups of yogurt that goes all over the country. It's how you do it. I realized that while you're doing all these amazing things, if you can make a difference on somebody's life with the product that you make, with the people that you make, in the community, and if you can reach further out, that would be the most amazing things. And I am so proud to say that while we are building this amazing company, we also touched a lot of people. And that's what I want to talk about today, and I think it's so important that while you're making, or we are making, the product that we want to make and we love to make, and while we're making the way that we wanted to make as an independent company, but we are so proud that how we brought the community to be part of this plant. When I started the first time with 5 people, I said, we are not going to stay in these 4 walls. We're going to open these 4 walls to everybody. And when we open this, we're going to open it to the first time to our little town and make sure that whoever lives in this town be proud of what we are making. Because without their support, without their involvement, without their personal attachment or feelings, we will not go anywhere. So the day one, that's what we did. We had a community outreach side, which was me first, and then we have some other people. And we became part of everything that we did. YMCA, running, fundraising, school events, anything that you can think of. But every time we did that, we have the community back to our company. And we made this together. And then we expanded and expanded until we found our Shepherd's Gift Foundation. I'll show you a couple of slides. And I think this is Somalia. When we reached out to Amanda, who is an amazing woman in Canada, does awesome work in Somalia. And she called me one day, and after we did this, how do I stop this? This way? Yeah. So Somalia, and she said, Hamdi, right now I'm in a little town in Somalia, and if we were not here today, people would have died. And I'm in this little town, and I'm completely overwhelmed. And I said, I thought I was just a yogurt maker. And now, as somebody's calling me from the other part of the world and is telling me that because what you made in upstate New York is saving lives in some other part of the world. The second most amazing time I had through this journey is the first thing that we did, we built a Little League field in New Berlin, New York. New Berlin, New York did not have a Little League field. It was just had a grass. And they came to us and said if we would be interested in helping them out. We said, no, let's build the most amazing Little League field that anybody has ever seen. And I said, it should be better than Cooperstown ones. And we built this all together, and then we had an opening night. And when we had the opening night, and it was the first time I had a baseball ball throwing, because I never done that before. I was always a soccer guy. The kids that came to me asked my autograph, and I didn't realize the first few minutes that what they were asking me to do. And they were asking me to sign their T-shirts. And I just realized that how happy they were and how amazed they were, and they thought I was a cool guy. And what I loved about that is not the field that we have for them or we built together for our kids, is how they felt that day. And I realized that these kids will never forget how they felt. And every single one of them, when they grow up, one day they would want to make somebody feel like that. And that is the most amazing things, on my view, is how can we touch somebody's life that will make long-lasting effects when they go on their life later on. Sharing of success on business, from my view, is the most amazing things, the most important things. And that's what I believe the day one. As an entrepreneur, we have to make sure that we bring more people to what we do every day and make sure that they share that they're fair right on this success. And I think if you go to upstate New York today, where we are in New Berlin, where 5 years ago, if you ask what was the worst thing ever happened to you, they would say this 90 years of plant being closed. And if you ask them the same questions today, they would say one of the best things happened that that plant was closed. Because together, not only we built an amazing plant, an amazing brand, but together we found out that what made America what it is today, or always been, which is that this spirit that when you believe and when you work hard and you give your 100%, you can do it. I learned that here when I came 15, 16, 17 years ago. And I think it's important, even today, especially today, that when we are going through this, difficult times, that what makes this country what it is still alive and still very strong in a little town like New Berlin and upstate New York or Twin Falls, Idaho. And that is the thing that it hurts me when I hear out there, especially in this town sometimes, that discussions and sometimes political views slides a little bit further away, the damage in that spirit. And I think as an entrepreneur, we want to make sure that it never damages that spirit. Thank you very much.